Alright, hi students! So today we're going to be talking about the present perfect tense, right? So it just means an action or state. So an action is something that you do. A state is like, I am happy. You can't really act out happy. Or if you said it is broken, you can't really act out broken, right? You could be like, oh, but it's not something that's you're doing. It's not like running where you're doing it. So a state just means the way something is. Happy, broken, um, on. It's a state. So it's something that began in the past and is still true right now. So, present perfect tense is hard to understand. So this bit is just to let you know that you need to stop this lesson if you do not understand simple present tense, which is I walk to the bus, and present progressive tense, which you don't. Sorry, my computer's being a little slow. Down. Okay, alright, it's gonna work, I think. Let me just get this back. Okay, so, present perfect tense, how can I talk about what's important to right now? Because we've learned how, how to use past tense. I did live here. We also learned how to say, oh, I live here now, present simple tense. So instead of having to say, oh, I did live here in the past and I live here now, we can use something called the present perfect tense. Or we know how to say, I am living here, meaning currently. How do we say all of those? You can use perfect present tense, which is what you would say is, I have lived here. So another example, if somebody asked you, how long have you lived here? You could say, I have lived in Utah for 13 years. So let's talk about how you make this and why we use it. So this is how you make it. You start with what we started with all the other tenses. You start with a subject, right? I, you, we, they, it, he, and she, right? Those are subjects. Or instead of using pronouns, all of what I just said, you could say my mom, or the fridge, or the trash, or my friend, or my boss and their boss. You can use those. Those are the subjects. It's just who or what we're talking about. Then you use have or has. So just like when we use simple present tense, like she walks to the store instead of I walk to the store, there's two different ways you can do it. This is the same. There are two different ways you can do it. So you could say, I have walked the dog, or you could say she has walked the dog. And then you use something called the past participle verb. Past participle verb. What is past participle verb? Doesn't make sense. I'll explain. Hold on. So this is how we make it. We need the subject. You need have. You need the special past verb, which is the past participle verb. It's just a special verb that we use for the past. So the way that the reason you would use have instead of has is if you say I, you, we, or they. I have, you have, we have, they have. Okay? And when you're using the present perfect tense, you don't just say I have, but you say I have and then you use the special past verb. Okay? Also called past participle verb. Now, you could also say it has, she has, he has. But you can't say I has. You can't say you have. I, you, we, and they, if that's who your subject is, you can only use have. If you're saying it, she, or he, if that's your subject, the person or the thing that you're talking about, you can only use has. Okay? So just like simple present, how you can only put the S at the end of the verb, right? If you say it or she or he, it's the same here. The one with the S, has, is the one that you use with it, she, or he. But what is past participle verb? I don't know, teacher. It's okay, we'll get to it. So, okay. Alright, sorry, my computer's having problems today. So, past participle verb is, it just means it's a special past tense verb. It's a verb that you don't use all the time unless it's in this kind of tense. That's the only way that you would use it, right? So, for example, you have the verb go, right? It means that you're going to go. It's an action. When we say go, it's in the present. If you say went, I went to the store, it means that it's past instead of I go to the store. I go to the store a lot, right? Gone. Gone is the special past tense verb, or the past participle verb. So gone and went and go, they all mean the same thing. They're just talking about doing that thing, doing that action at different times, the past or the present. But the thing is that went and gone, they both mean the past. They went and gone both mean the past. It's just gone is the special verb that you have to use when you say I have or they have. They have gone, or she has gone, or he has gone. I still don't understand, teacher. Don't worry, I will talk about it more. Right now, we're going to focus on how to make it. Right now, we are focusing, right? Right now, we are focusing right now on how to make it. So, how to make it? You have your subject. You have or has, and you put it with the special past verb. So for example, I have, and then you use the special past verb. We're just going to pretend that we're using a verb right now, but we're just going to say, oh, you put the special past verb right here. But you need to remember that you need to use the right subject with the right have or has. Right? So have or has. Have and has are verbs. Why are we using two verbs together? Well, have and has are present tense. And then we use a past tense verb after that. So you're putting the present and the past together. So I will explain why that's important later on in the lesson. But right now we just need to focus on using the right subject with have or has. So since we used I, we have to use have. Since we used you use have and the special past verb. We have special past verb. They have, and then you use the special verb. It has the special past verb. She has, and he has, which is the special, and then the special past verb. So if you say I, if you say you, or we, or they, you need to use have. and then the special past verb. If you say it, she, or he, you have to say has, and then the special past verb. Now, for example, we're not always going to say I or they or she or he or it. Sometimes we talk about something that's specific. For example, my family and I. That's we. That means we. But when you're talking to somebody, sometimes you need to say exactly who you're talking about. My family and I, we, have, and then use the special verb. The nurses, they have, right? But you just say the nurses have. The bus has. The bus is an it. So that's why we use has. And then we use the special past verb. My mom. My mom is a she. Has. So since it's she, we use has. My mom has, and then use the special past verb. And then you have let's do another one. Ooh, sorry guys. Oh no, it's all over the place. Okay, so my son has, and then you use the special verb. My son, that means he. Has, and so that's why you use has. Okay, so this is how you make present perfect tense. So they have special past verb. I have special past verb. The teacher has, right? Because the teacher is another person that isn't us, and there's only one of them. He or a she, we don't know. The teacher has, and then use the special past verb. Her dog has, it, an animal, he or she, special past verb. Then we use, so we use her dog has, and then you use the special verb. So that's the structure. That's how it's going to look. Even though we're not using a verb, that's where it goes, is right after has or have. The cart, masks, and gloves have special past verb. Their mask has the special past verb. So the reason their mask, it's an it, it's a thing. So even though you're talking about a person's mask, since you said their mask, the mask is what you're talking about, it's an it. So that's why you use has. And the cart, masks, and gloves, those are all things. So why do you use have and not has? It's because you're listing, it's because it's a lot. And since it's a lot, you can consider it as like those things, which is like saying they, right? So that's why you use have. So what is the special past verb? So in English, verbs are words that are actions or states, right? And I'm not talking about, when I say states, I'm not talking about like the United States. When I say states, I'm saying how something is. Is it on? Is the light on? That's a state. Is it broken? That's a state. It's describing just how it is, how it be. Kind of like that. So that's what it means. So verbs can talk about the present, the past, and the future. So we know, since we've been learning tenses, verbs are what create tense, meaning it tells us about the time, whether it was the present, the past, or the future. So I have, and the special past verb is present, perfect tense, meaning it's talking about now. Even though we use a past tense verb, because we use have, which is present, it makes it present perfect tense, not past perfect tense. But it's important for us to use the present have and the special past verb. And then you can say, she has, and then, sorry, my computer keeps being weird. She has, and then, sorry, she has the special past verb. It's present. It's still present. So even though you're using a past tense verb right here, the special one, because you use have and has, it makes it present. So have and has is present, and the past is the verb. Present and past verbs together tell us that something happened in the past and is still true or important to right now. So that's why you're combining the present and the past next to each other, is because it's saying what happened in the past is important now. So what are the special verbs? Are there special present and future verbs, right? So there's a special past verb. Are there a special present verb and a special future verb? No. There is only special past tense verbs. Those are the only special verbs that we have. They're past tense. In English, we have two types of verb, right? Regular and easy. So verbs can talk about what time, present, past, and future, but they can also be in different forms, right? They can look a different way because you have a regular verb and irregular verb. Regular verbs are the easy ones. Irregular verbs are the hard ones. So when we talk about regular, we're talking about a verb that it's a verb that when we make it past, we just add ed at the end, right? She walks, or I walk to the bus. To make it past tense, it's really easy. You just add ed at the end. I walked. If you use the irregular, I'll show you. Sorry. So if you use the irregular, it's a completely different word. I go home at 6 is different from saying I went home at 6. So even though go and went mean the same thing, there are two different words, and one is the present, go, and one is the past, which is went. So regular verbs, walk, it turns into walked. Work turns into worked. Stay turns into stayed. Those are regular verbs. They're verbs that you only have to add an ed, and it's past, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to make it a new word. Irregular verbs are verbs that have to change into a different word in order to talk about the past. So go turns into went, give is gave, and eat is ate. Okay? So what are special past verbs? When you use the special past verb, that means it will be in the past tense. So you're not going to be using the present tense to make it special. You make it special because it's in the past. So for a regular verb, the only thing you have to do when you have to use the special verb is you just use the regular past tense. Walked. I walk. I am walking, right? These are both present tense. And then if you said I have walked, that's present perfect tense, right? You don't have to change anything. But if it's a regular, if it's the hard one, I go, I am going, and if you say I have gone. So go and going, they look the same kind of, right? Because you say go, and then for going, you just put an ing at the end, an ing sound, going. But gone, that's a totally different word, right? I have gone. Just like if you said the past, I went, that's past tense, but then you say I have gone. It's really confusing. It doesn't make sense. Teacher, how do I know which verb is regular and which is irregular? That's hard. Regular and irregular verbs can only be memorized. You can only memorize them. English is a lot of languages just put together. A lot of words from like we use a lot of words that are based in Latin. So sometimes we use words that are French. Sometimes we use words that are German. Sometimes we use Spanish words. So the way that English goes together is kind of weird and hard to understand. So that's why the verbs, they can only be memorized. There's not a list of only these verbs and only these verbs. Regular verbs, those ones are easy to remember because you just add ed. But you still have to remember which ones are regular and which ones are irregular. And the hard ones, the irregular ones, you can know that they're irregular, but you have to memorize what the past tense is because it's not adding an ed. It's a different word, right? Like go. Go is present, went is past, and gone is the special past verb. So this really isn't fun, right? So you just have to memorize them. But here are some for you to memorize. So this first group is the irregular ones, the hard ones. So right here, it just says simple form. Simple form just means the basic one, right? It's what we use in simple present. So do is present, simple past is did, and can't really see it, but this says done. Special past, or the past participle, is done. Go is present, went is past, and gone is the special past, so it's still past, but it's the special one that we use when we talk about something that happened in the past but is important now, the present perfect tense. Eat, present, ate is past, eaten is still past, but it's the special one. It's the special verb that we use. Give, present, gave, past, given is the special past. Know is present, knew is past, and known is the special past. It's the one that we use when we're talking about stuff in the present, right? Be is present. Was or were. Was or were is the simple past, and been, I've been, I have been, that's the special past. Wake, present. Woke, past. Woken. I've woken. I have woken. Woken is the special past. Write, present. Wrote is past. Written is the special past. See, present. Saw, past. Seen is the special one that's in between the past and the present. It's the special one. Okay, so my computer is freezing again, so I gotta move it around. Okay, so regular verbs are easy. Simple form, present, work turns into worked. And when you're using the special past, it's still worked. It's the same one, so that's easy. Call, past tense, called. You're using the special one, still called. I have called. Good. So these are all the regular ones. So you can look at these, answer, answered, and answered. It's still the same. So these ones are easy to remember because if it's a regular verb, the special past is the same as the simple past, right? You don't need to do a fancy new word. Answer, answered, and answered. Same thing. These two are the same. So this section and this section, they're the same. Have and has turns into had. Study is studied. Teach is taught. Taught. Make, made. Walk, walked. And tell, told. So you're probably thinking, this isn't a regular verb. It's a different word in the past. But It's easy because for make, made is the past, even though it's a new word, it's a d instead of a k. It's still the same word when you're using the special past, the past participle. Okay, still being weird, my computer. Don't know why it's doing this. Okay, so now we're going to make some sentences. So we have the subject, have or has, and the special past verb. So, it's still being weird. Okay, so we're going to make some sentences. And first one is, I have lived in Utah for 10 years. Pretty easy, right? We just said, use the past tense. I have lived. She has gone to the store. So the verb that we used is go. But we made the special past, which is gone. She has gone to the store. We have eaten, special past, already. My mother has, because it's a she, given so much. The bus has left us behind. They have flown to Mexico to visit their family. So flown is the special past of fly, but it's fly is the present, flew is the past, and flown is the special past. We have known each other for 2 months. Known is the special past verb of know. I have seen that movie. Seen is the special past verb of see. My friends have helped me improve my English. Helped is the special past of help, even though the regular past, the simple past, is still helped. It's just an ed. So why do we use the perfect present tense? Why is this important to us? It's a lot of work to do it. So we use it to talk about something in the past that kept happening until now or is still happening. So that's why it's important, because you're combining the past and the present together to talk about one thing that happened. So it can be from a long, long time ago, or it can be recent, something that just happened. So for example, if I said, I have woken up at 6 a.m. since I was 6 years old. So you're talking about something that's kept happening way in the past, way back when you were 6 years old. Or you could say, I have woken up at 6 a.m. every day this week. So this was just the past week. It was something that just happened. But you can still use it because you're talking about the past with the present. So that's why you can use them for both. So because it is talking about something that kept happening, we never use words that talk about a specific time or an exact time. So when you're saying, subject, so I have woken up early, you don't use phrases that talk about a certain time, like a specific time in the past, in the sentence. So you don't use words or phrases like last week or 2 hours ago or yesterday. So if you said I have, right, we have our subject and we have, and then you have the special past verb. I have woken up early yesterday. That doesn't work because when you say yesterday, you're talking about a very specific time in the past. So you would just use the simple past tense. I woke up early yesterday. That's good. But if you're using the present perfect tense to talk about something that happened a lot in the past and is important right now, you would just say, I have woken up early. So we use it because what happened in the past kept happening, it kept going, and is important to right now the present, which is the present. So, for example, sometimes you'll try to make an appointment or you're trying to contact someone for customer service for a store, something that you bought, and they'll tell you, oh, you needed to do this last week. Or, for example, you needed to call us last week to make an appointment. It's good to know how to use the present perfect tense because it tells the person that's listening or that's reading that you did the thing in the past and you kept doing it to now. So it's important right now. So they say, you needed to call us last week to make an appointment. You could say, I have called many times. This is present perfect tense, right? We say, I have called many times. So that means I have right now, as of right now, I did do this. I called in the past a lot. Nobody, that's the subject, has answered. So you're saying every time you called, nobody picked up the phone. So you see why it's good to know how to say this, because what you're talking about is something that happened in the past, but it's important right now. So you're putting together the past and the present together to talk about something that's important right now. So that's it for today. I didn't go over the worksheet that I handed out. I'll go over that tomorrow. We'll talk about the worksheet that I sent to you. But today, that's all that the lesson is, and I'll see you tomorrow.